Okay, boys and girls, I'm back with another math video. So we're going to be focusing on double-digit multiplication for the rest of the week. And the strategy we're going to use today is using place value to solve multiplication problems. We've done this strategy in the past. We're going to use the associative property and distributive property. And we're going to solve problems like this, 24 times 15. You also are going to learn how to write story problems. So we're going to do a couple here, and then we're going to look at it how you would do the assignment in Google Slides. So these pages are in your textbook as well. I'll show you those in a minute. But here are some problems that we'll start together. And you can stop this video as often as you like and replay it so that you can get the lesson and get the concepts. And then, also pay attention to how I complete the Google Slide page so that you'll know what to do going forward. So 24 times 15, I want to create a story problem. So in the assignment pages, you have to create a story problem for each one, and then you solve it, and I set up the arrays for you, and we'll do a couple of examples. So I create a story problem using 24 times 15. Now, one thing you have to remember when you create story problems is think of groups, boxes, cartons, sets, containers. Even people can be a group. The group is the container, and then think of things that come in groups. So the things are going to be in the group, and then one factor is the group and the other factor is the number in each group. So I'll show you what that means. So 24 times 15. Okay, these are your factors. What are factors? They are numbers that are used in multiplication. When you write in a multiplication equation, those numbers are called factors. And when you multiply them, you find your answer, or we call the product. So I wrote a short story problem. I have 24 boxes of oranges. So my boxes are my groups. And I have 24 of those groups. Then I have a period here. Each box, so that means every box. So the multiplication, it's equal groups. So each box contains 15 oranges. These are my things in the group, or things in groups. So there's 15 oranges in every box, and I have 24 boxes. How many oranges altogether? I have to ask a question. So the other part of a story problem, there must be a question at the end. Without a question, you don't have a story problem. So you have to have those two numbers being used. Remember, they're in groups, so you have to use words like each box or each container or each person. That word has to be used in some way so that you show that this is multiplication. You're not adding these numbers. You're saying that there are 24 boxes of 15 oranges. So if you were to picture that, you would have 24 boxes and 15 in every box. So that's a big number. When you solve it, you're going to use place value and you're going to use the open array. This is the open array. Open means that there aren't little squares and grids in here, and there's open space. And then you have a rectangle. One part of the rectangle is a line. The longest line represents the biggest number. So this line represents the 24 boxes. And this line represents the 15 oranges in every box. And what I've done is split these numbers into smaller parts. The 24 is split into 20 and 4. Because 24 is 20 plus 4. And 15 is split into 10 and 5, because 10 plus 5 is 15. Now, once it's set up like this, if you have a 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication, you're going to have 4 smaller arrays. This is an array. So is this. So is this. So is this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Okay? So what do you do with that? Once you split, what's the next step? All right, so the next step is, now that the array is split, write equations inside each array, each part. So in this part, this array represents 20 times 10, which is 200. Well, how do I get those factors? Well, the 20 is represented by this part here, and the 10 is represented by this part here. So 20 times 10 is 200. And then my next array would be 4 times 10, or 10 times 4, which is 40. Notice that these numbers have zeros in them that make them very friendly to work with. That's the idea of this strategy. You want friendly numbers. Then you have this array here, which is 20 times 5. Well, that's 100. How do I know that? Because 5 times 2 is 10. So 5 times 20 is 100. And then my smallest array uses my smallest factors. So 4 times 5, and 5 times 4 is 20. So once I fill in the box with my equations, my final answer is to add up all of the products. 200 plus 100 plus 40 plus 20. If I add that up, my answer is 360. So the answer to my story problem is 360 oranges. That's how many oranges I have altogether. All right, let's look at another problem. Mrs. Johnson is planning a party. She orders 19 cases of juice. Each case holds 52 juices. How many juices does she buy in all? So let's break it down. I have to have groups. I have 19 cases. Those are my groups. Well, what do I have in those cases? I have juices. So these are my things. I have 52 juices. So these are the things in the groups. And remember, I'm using the numbers here, 52 times 19. And then how many juices did she buy in all? I'm looking for the total. So I have to ask a question. So I have all three parts in my story problem. I have the number of groups, I have what things are in the group, and I have a question. You have to have those three things. Okay? You have to have your number of groups, the number of things in a group, and you need to ask the question. Those are the important parts you have to remember. Now, when you do the problem in Google Docs, you'll have an array that's set up with these little boxes here. Here you're going to split the array. So this is 52 times 19. Well, how do I split 52 up? So you might want to pause the video, think about it, and then see if you can figure it out. Okay, so hopefully you pause it. Now we can play it. So 52. The 5 is 50. So I put that number here in the first spot. And then the 2 represents 2. So 50 and 2 make 52. What would I do for this side, for the 19? Well, same idea. That 1 represents 10. And this 9 represents 9. So now I have my factors split up into 4 parts. So now I'm going to write equations in each of these boxes. In the Google Forms, you're going to type them in. So the first box here will be 50 times 10. Well, 50 times 10 is 500. Just 5 times 1 is 5, and you have 2 zeros. For this box, it's 2. Now, there isn't a number over here, so what do you have to do? You got to go all the way across. When you go across, you don't go sideways. You go straight across. 10. So this is 10 times 2, and that's equal to 20. All right, halfway there. Okay, this box here will be 50 times 9. Oh, Mr. Andrews, I don't know 50 times 9. Well, you have to know, you should know 5 times 9. All right, 5 times 9 is 45, so 50 times 9 is 450. Oh, remember, when you have zeros, that's using the associative property. So what you're really doing is 5 times 9 times 10. And what you're doing right here is 5 times 1 times 10. No, sorry. 5 times 10 times 10. I'm sorry about that. So here it's 5 times 9 times 10. That's 450. That's the associative property. And then you have 2 times 9. That's 18. All right, and then the rule is add up all of the products or the answers. So then in your final answer, you would write your equation here, and you're adding. And if you can't do this in your head, then you do it on paper or something like that. But the answer would be, this is 950, plus 20 is 970, plus 18 is 988. So my answer, Miss Johnson, has 988 juices. Okay, that's the strategy. Now, let's do a Google Forms page. This is going to be page, let's look in here. No, we did that page already. It starts at page 443. We're going to do this page together. You're also going to do page 444, 445, and 446. But we'll do one of the pages together in Google Slides, not Google Forms. So let me just load it up, show you what the page looks like. Just bear with me. And just a reminder, boys and girls, these videos, definitely watch them before you do the assignment. This is my way of kind of giving you some teaching strategies, and then you have to apply them. And you can replay the video as often as you like. So here is what the assignment looks like. Now, if you forgot, if it loads up like this, to make it bigger, you go to the magnifying glass here where it says zoom and hit 100%. And then what you do is you can scroll up and you can see the page that you're on right now. And then on the side here are the other pages that you will do. We will do this page together. So 53 times 24. First, write a story to go with each problem. Then solve the problem and show your solution. You are going to use arrays because there's one made for you. You're going to see it's already set up, and I'll show you how to type and put your numbers in. So 53 times 24. Type your story problem here. So what I do is just click twice, and I can begin typing. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to hold this up here for just a minute. I guess I have to do it like that. Okay. So I can say Dan orders 53 cases of water bottles. So that's the number of groups, 53 cases. Each case contains 24 water bottles. So now I have to ask the question, how many, what am I counting? I'm not counting cases, I'm counting water bottles. How many water bottles in all? I've only told you how many bottles are in a case. What I don't know is how many cases in all. Or how many bottles in all. So let's read it again. Dan orders 53 cases of water bottles. Each case contains 24 water bottles. How many water bottles in all? So how many groups do I have? 53 cases. That's the number of groups. Each case contains 24 water bottles. That's how many things are in the group. How many water bottles in all? I asked the question. You must end with a question. If you don't have a question, then you don't have a story problem. So make sure that you have 3 parts. The number of groups and what the group is. Case, a set, a package. People can be a group too. Like if I said I gave out, there was 15 people and I gave everyone 12 M&Ms. How many M&Ms did I give out? So the people are the group. They're holding it. Whatever is holding the thing is the group. So 53 cases is the group. There's 24 water bottles in each case. So that's the number of things. How many water bottles in all? I'm counting. I want to know how many things in all. You must have those parts. Once you do that, here are the directions for the next part. Fill in the correct factors for the array below. It is split into 4 parts. Then write the equations inside the array. Finally, solve it. So you're going to solve your final answer here. And then in these little boxes here that I'm pointing to, that's where you split it, just like we did on paper. So my equation is 53 times 24, right? So this is the long side. I'm going to think 53. So 53 can be split into 50 and 3. See that? That represents the 53, which is up here. Now I have to split the 24, which is on the side here. Notice I'm not doing anything inside the array yet. That comes after. So this 24 can be split into 20. And all you got to do is click on the box in this type. You'll see the 4 little arrows. Type. And there you go. 50, 20, and 4. So 20 and 4 makes 24, and 50